Let's talk about USA basketball. Did a video yesterday afternoon late that Caitlin Clark is among a number of participants that's headed to the senior training camp for Team USA. Now, I would assume, right? Oh, they've learned all kinds of lessons after failing to put Caitlin Clark on Team USA during the...
After leaving Caitlin Clark off Team USA, the shockwaves ripped through the league like a lightning strike, shattering any sense of progress just as fans were celebrating her invitation to the senior training camp. Then a new graphic appeared, a supposed Team USA welcome, but the faces shown were not what anyone expected. The sport's most high-profile, game-changing star was completely missing. What felt like an intentional snub instantly ignited outrage, with fans furious at the blatant disrespect. This wasn't a casual oversight.
USA. Now, I would assume, right? Oh, they've learned all kinds of lessons after failing to put Caitlin Clark on Team USA during the Olympics. By the way, of which the guy that runs the 2028 Olympics, he come out and said he thought it was a terrible idea leaving her off the team. Adam Silver said, hey, I think this was an opportunity that they could have had to have grown women's sports. Something that I and many other Caitlin Clark fans also said. Do you want to grow the sport? Do you want to...
It was a bold, unmistakable message, and the deafening silence from official channels only amplified it. And let's be honest, this isn't the first time. The sting of the Olympic roster snub still lingers. Clark was shockingly excluded despite massive public outcry, and many assumed, perhaps naively, that USA basketball had learned from that colossal mistake. Yet here we are again, staring at another baffling decision that once more derails the momentum of women's sports. The pattern is impossible to ignore. Treat Clark's extraordinary popularity as a liability.
Women's sports. Something that I and many other Caitlin Clark fans also said. Do you want to grow the sport? Do you want to... Does I said NBC should have been furious that she was not on the Olympic team. They would have shattered... They might have shattered potentially basketball, actual Olympic basketball records, maybe outside of the old Dream Team kind of records, right? Back when television ratings in general were just higher because there was no streaming services, yada, yada, yada. But you get my point. It'd have been a huge rating.
Rather than the unprecedented opportunity it truly is. It's a strategic failure that hurts the sport, leaving fans and critics equally stunned. There would have been massive ratings. Even major figures condemned the original Olympic snub. The head of the 2028 Olympics, whose job is literally to drive global engagement, called Clark's omission a disastrous move. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver weighed in too, calling it a massive opportunity lost for growing women's basketball worldwide. These aren't throwaway opinions. They're scathing assessments from the highest levels of professional sports.
It'd have been a huge rating. Instead, they continue to treat Caitlin Clark like she's a leper. What are we doing? What are we doing? The WNBA, Team USA, I don't understand. When I did my video last night, I had not seen this. Shit, I got up this morning and I seen it now. And we'll get to the reaction. By the way, heads up, Christine Brennan's the one that really caught my eye on this. And, you know, just to put it out there.
Exposing a glaring disconnect in USA basketball's decision-making. The leadership warnings were loud and clear, yet totally ignored. Instead, they continue treating Caitlin Clark like she's radioactive. Just imagine the frustration at NBC, or at least the frustration they should have had. With Caitlin Clark on the Olympic roster, TV ratings could have soared to unprecedented levels, even rivaling the Dream Team era in today's media climate. Instead, that golden opportunity vanished. The chance for historic viewership evaporated. This wasn't just a potential win for women's basketball.
Added the photo of one other player to this graphic, but no. I'm going to keep it real. She's the only player I'd have put on that graphic. The only player. I mean, at some point, this Man, women's basketball has got to quit worrying about hurting people's little feelings. Seriously, do you want to grow or do you not want to grow? I mean, you put Kaylee Copper, okay, Kelsey Plum, and I'm guessing this is probably Chelsea Gray.
It was a surefire ratings explosion for broadcasters, a cultural and financial boost that was simply thrown away. The short-sightedness is unbelievable, leaving millions in revenue and global visibility unrealized. The latest spark of outrage came from acclaimed sports journalist Christine Brennan. She highlighted the obvious. If USA Basketball genuinely wanted to grow the sport and draw new audiences, Caitlin Clark would have been front and center in their promotional materials. Her critique, straightforward but devastating, blew up online, racking up more than 250,000 views and putting USA Basketball on the defensive.
Caitlin Clark, and I paid attention then long enough to throw up in a bucket. I mean, this is nuts. USA women's basketball is back. 18 athletes will attend December 12th through the 14th, Durham, North Carolina. By the way, you want to know one reason why the ratings were down for the last Olympics on women's basketball? People boycotted it because Caitlin Clark wasn't named to the team. I remember.
It was a clear reminder that the public sees right through the organization's empty gestures, exposing the huge gap between their stated goals and their actual decisions. And the graphic itself said everything. While it featured talented stars like Kelsey Plum and Chelsea Gray, it completely omitted the one player who has undeniably become the face of women's basketball. Social media erupted immediately. Who exactly were these other players supposed to represent? This isn't about diminishing anyone. It's about acknowledging a global phenomenon.
People boycotted it because Caitlin Clark wasn't named to the team. I remember. That was a huge story on this channel. A huge story. So, a lot of people noticed Christine's post. It got over 250,000 views. And it looks to me like that USA Basketball chose to leave the conversation with her share because look.
Yet USA Basketball seems intent on letting internal politics overshadow common sense, refusing to highlight the sport's most recognizable, marketable star. It's a baffling approach that undercuts their own stated mission, effectively working against themselves. The previous Olympic snub had real consequences. Many fans responded by boycotting women's basketball games outright, causing viewership to plummet. A direct and undeniable reaction to Clark's exclusion. This wasn't mild annoyance. It was an organized statement from a passionate fan base. The warning signs were glaring back then, yet USA Basketball appears to have ignored the data completely.
Failed to grow women's basketball at the 2024 Olympics. This is a continuing story. They learned nothing. They are still fighting the CC motion with everything they have. Did I watch the last Olympics without CC? Nope. Will I watch this team with CC? Yes. I'm not the only one. You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
Now with this latest snub, the risk of alienating fans even further and watching viewership nosedive again is higher than ever. The backlash grew so intense that USA Basketball quietly deleted some social media posts featuring the controversial graphic, while the main post is flooded with negative comments and relentless criticism. This hurried retreat, though not an explicit admission of guilt, speaks volumes. It exposes their awareness of the growing storm and a clumsy attempt to regain control of the narrative. But in an age of instant information and viral outrage, such moves only backfire, magnifying the perceived slight and digging the organization deeper into a hole. For decades, national governing bodies like USA Basketball have had two core missions: win medals and grow the sport. Yet by continually sidelining their biggest star, they are failing at the latter. Sure, medals may be earned, but at the cost of expanding the fan base and securing the sport's long-term future. This isn't just a missed chance, it's deliberate undercutting of potential, prioritizing politics over broad appeal. The long-term damage to the sport's growth is becoming impossible to overlook. This isn't an isolated issue, it's a recurring pattern of resistance. USA Basketball seems determined to push back against Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise, working against public opinion and her undeniable influence on the game. There's an ongoing refusal to embrace the player who has transformed the landscape of women's basketball, treating a global superstar as a threat instead of an invaluable asset. It's an incomprehensible stance, and the reputational fallout is huge. The motivations behind this pushback are unclear, but the consequences are obvious, even in roster decisions. Veteran players are often prioritized, sometimes over explosive newcomers who drive audience interest. Past decisions, like choosing Diana Taurasi for Olympic teams, despite limited recent play, suggest a preference for legacy names over current impact. While honoring legends matters, choosing sentiment over performance and marketability signals deeper systemic issues, and fans notice. Criticism of USA Basketball often veers into uncomfortable territory, with some suggesting a double standard targeting Clark. Comments implying she doesn't fit the preferred mold or questioning her background fuel perceptions of bias. Whether true or not, the existence of these beliefs erodes trust, implying that merit and popularity take a backseat to unspoken criteria. That perception alone undermines transparency and harms the sport's credibility. Caitlin Clark is, without question, the most globally recognized player in women's basketball today. Her reach crosses cultures, generations, and demographics, drawing countless new viewers to the sport. Ignoring her global appeal, especially in massive events like the Olympics, is a self-inflicted disaster. Her presence isn't just helpful, it's transformative, capable of attracting new fans and elevating the sport worldwide. Yet there's a strong belief that resentment lingers within the WNBA and USA Basketball. Some insiders seem unwilling to accept that she is the league's main star, the reason millions tune in. If true, this internal jealousy paints a picture of decisions driven by spite rather than growth, damaging the sport from within. Observers argue these internal politics elevate less marketable, less relatable players over Clark, further frustrating fans and hindering broader expansion. This hints at a deeper agenda, one where criteria beyond talent or popularity guide decisions. While such claims must be treated carefully, the repeated sidelining of Clark despite her overwhelming influence has many suspecting ulterior motives, fueling mistrust across the sport. The current coach, while outwardly professional, is widely viewed as harboring jealousy toward Clark's record-breaking impact. This perceived envy creates a dangerous dynamic, raising concerns that personal feelings may be shaping key decisions. If resentment toward the sport's biggest star exists at the top, it's a recipe for dysfunction, undermining team chemistry and performance, while planting seeds for conflict. The data on Clark's economic influence is staggering. Fever Games saw a jaw-dropping 552% drop in viewership after the Olympic snub. These aren't theories. They're hard facts showing a direct relationship between her presence and audience engagement. Ignoring numbers like this isn't just short-sighted, it's financially reckless, directly harming the sport's stability and long-term prospects. Leaving the world's most popular female athlete out of promotional materials isn't a minor oversight. It's a colossal error. It exposes a fundamental misunderstanding of what drives engagement. In an era where visibility is everything, hiding your top star is pure self-sabotage, leaving fans to wonder whether leadership is incompetent or whether deeper resistance to Clark exists within the organization. The message is simple and unavoidable. If USA Basketball fails to include Caitlin Clark on future Olympic rosters, the backlash will be enormous. This isn't exaggeration, it's a prediction grounded in hard data and fan sentiment. Ignoring her impact signals a refusal to adapt, to listen, and to truly nurture the sport's enormous potential. Continued missteps could lead to catastrophic and irreversible damage to women's basketball's growth and global standing.